So, most of you know that I grew up in Florida, right? I'm hoping that's a thing that's, like, pretty common knowledge. I've mentioned growing up and going to Pensacola Christian Academy. So, like, shit that happens in Florida, kind of important to me. And unfortunately, apparently Governor Ron Desantis over there has a giant stick up his ass. And we're gonna go ahead and get into that here in a bit. But first, let's go ahead and showcase the fan art of the episode. This one is from Alex Reynes, and they said it's something. Well, something is certainly something that it is, so there's something here for you to see. And I'll say it's something. So, with all that said, let's go ahead and get right into the article itself. So, apparently this advertisement is really, really bad. One sec. I save you all from the bad advertisements. Okay, we have one from the Miami Herald here. We've also got the same article up from the Tampa Bay Times, so both local news here. In a push against so-called cancel culture, the Republican majority in the Florida legislature is ready to pass legislation that would require public colleges and universities to survey their students, faculty, and staff about their beliefs and viewpoints. The survey is part of a broader measure that would also bar university and college officials from limiting speech that may be uncomfortable, disagreeable, or offensive, and would allow students to record lectures without consent to support a civil or criminal case against a higher education system. Now, for those who remember, this is actually something that, if I am 100% certain, I believe Michael Moreno did. He did this with his teacher, and it made his videos go viral. So this is something we've already seen what happens with this. Also, is Florida a single-party consent state? I don't remember this one, actually. Okay, Florida's a two-party consent state. So because Florida's a two-party consent state, this already would make Florida this would make there be specific areas in Florida where single-party consent. That's weird. Though, to be fair, I actually do know that there are people who I grew up with who've recorded their lectures that they've gone to so they could study them when they get home, because it turns out that college lectures are actually, like, really fucking stupid. I'm just going to throw this out right now. A lecture that, compared to the ability to reread material or the ability to rewatch a video of a lecture, an actual sit-down lecture with a teacher where you hear everything once and have to take notes, is a really inefficient medium for learning. So there are reasons to record over and above the shit that we've seen in the past. But, see, the objective, according to the bill sponsors, is to protect the intellectual freedom and viewpoint diversity on state campuses, but university faculty members worry about the proposal. House Bill 233 is likely to send a chilling effect on their freedom of speech. They say, I worry this bill will force a fearful self-consciousness that is not much about learning and debate, as it is about appearances and playing into an outside audience, said Kathy Bowen, a researcher with the Florida Education Association. Such legislation could pave a way for politicians to meddle in, monitor, and regulate speech on campus based on university survey results, Democratic lawmakers charge. So, I have a question. If it turns out, let's say that we had just, and we're going to look at the bill itself here in a second, but I want to throw out a hypothetical here for a minute. What if I was looking at a college campus, and let's say that there's a universally accepted among experts view on evolution, right? Let's just say, hypothetically, we live in a world where that's true, right? And let's say that they want a rigorous diversity of opinions on evolution. That's the exact opposite of what you want in a college. You don't want a diversity of opinions on a well-established scientific theory. You want them to understand the well-established scientific theory, and if they have a problem with the theory, then they can go ahead and try to disprove it. But an actual, like, quote, diversity of opinions on certain subjects, not exactly the thing you want on a college campus. Now, when we're talking about politics, when we're talking about things like economics, then yeah, there might be a little more room for diversity of opinions over there, easily. But there are some things that this should not apply to. But I'm not sure if this will affect them that way. We'll look at the legislation and see specifically. We'll finish the article, then we'll look at the legislation, and we'll come to a determination from there. Don't you think it's dangerous for us to have all the data on personal opinions of university faculty and students? Senator Lori Berman and... Yeah, actually, no. I agree with that one. Imagine, so your teacher's teaching you, and while it can be convenient for the ability of engaging in, like, thought-terminating cliches, isn't it also just more than a little dangerous for every opinion that they have to be known by everyone? Let's say somebody's, there are certain things that teachers just don't need to tell you. If your teachers are Republican and they vote Republican, but they're teaching you math and they're not like propagandizing to you about the glory of God Emperor Trump in their classroom, then who the fuck cares that they're a Republican at that point? Like, they don't wield any power here outside of the power to influence their students about math. They're not talking politics. And even then, there are teachers who vote one way or the other and can divorce all of those beliefs from their classroom setting. I couldn't fucking tell you, except for 2 teachers that I ever had growing up, I couldn't tell you what their political affiliation was as far as, like, my high school teachers were concerned, except for 2. I can tell you one was definitely a Democrat, because I've looked at their Facebook since I became an adult, and I can tell you the other one was definitely a Republican, because he told us that in class. That was it. That's it. Apparently, the answer was a resounding no from bill sponsor Senator Ray Rodriguez. So let's go ahead and look at who Senator Ray Rodriguez is real quick after we read his quip. He said, "I don't think it's dangerous. Other states that have gone down this road have actually found it educational and beneficial. I think it would be educational and beneficial for the state of Florida as well." Which states have done this? I'm actually curious. But let's see here. Ray Rodriguez, who the fuck are you? Let's see here. Born in Pensacola. Hey, me as well. He received a scholarship from WinShape Foundation, graduated in 1922. Following graduation. Okay, let's go ahead and see. He is part of the Republican Party. Okay, is there any history on the stuff he's supported here I care about? The following legislation is passed by the House of Representatives when you get a signature. Parental consent for abortions. Parental consent is required for most medical procedures for a minor, but excluded this requirement for abortions. The bill prohibits a provision for performing an abortion on any girl under the age of 18 without the consent of the parents or legal guardian of the child. Wait, hold on, but this one feels weird. Wait, hold on. Let's see. So, I already have a problem with this fucking one that he supported recently. Because I'm going to throw a hypothetical out at you, and it's a hypothetical that fucking happens. 16-year-old girl gets raped. 16-year-old girl gets pregnant. 16-year-old girl tries to get an abortion. Parents are incredibly fucking problematic, and they decide that 16-year-old girl needs to carry the fetus to term. Specifically because the fetus is a punishment from God that she needs to carry. I've heard this song and dance more than once in my life, so I'm not really throwing a hypothetical out there that's a super reductio. This is just a fucking thing that happens. So the parents go, no, there will not be an abortion. We will not have an abortion here at all. And yet, you, as the minor who went through a traumatic experience and do not want something linked to that traumatic experience being there, why? I see a whole bunch of issues with this. Yes, hello. How are you? I see a kitty.
What weighs more, a gallon of water or a gallon of butane?
What weighs more, a gallon of water or a gallon of butane?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
A gallon of butane because it's a lighter fluid.
Get out.
Like lighter fluid?
Just, no, go.
Lighter.
Go. Go.
Did you also hear about the sexual health? I don't know if I'm supposed to say did you hear about there's a health teacher in, I think, Washington that just is, like, getting a lot of hate right now?
No.
Because they handed out flyers to teenagers, that promoted safe sex. Basically, you can buy condoms and buy birth control without your parental consent.
No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, and on it, it was like, you can get an abortion without parental consent. You can get this without parental consent.
Oh, and people got mad that students were being taught about how to be safe?
Yes.
Oh, well, fuck them.
But I figured you're talking about this as a good thing to follow up on. I didn't even think
This,
about it.
this has nothing. This has nothing to do with the actual point of the topic. This is just a single senator who's voted in favor of the thing. So I'm looking at his history real quick.
I'm just letting you know that's happening in Washington.
That's fair. I'll have them.
I was gonna stand there and wait.
That is weird. just looming over the whole time. Jesus Christ, honey.
I will wait for you to end it.
Oh my god, just... Why? Anyways. So let's see here. Child welfare reforms. 2 bills are passed. Okay. So I'm not gonna go super far into this. I just found the one thing that just made me go, I got a problem with that. Florida's higher education institutions could soon find out that that is the case. Or if that's the case, without a debate, the bill passed the Florida Senate on Wednesday on a 23-15 vote. Senator Daryl Rosen, I don't care about the list is here. If you want to read it, you can. Okay. And there was a lone Republican in the chamber who voted against the bill with Democrats. Isn't it so telling all the time when these bills get voted on, like, on party lines all the time? Desantis released a bill, then, like, the fucking majority party just votes it in. And then that's it. All the time. All the fucking time. Let's read the fucking bill. Let's go ahead and look through some of this. An act relating to post-secondary education, defining the terms intellectual freedom and viewpoint diversity, and SHIELD, requiring the State Board of Education and the Board of Governors, respectively, to annually assess intellectual freedom and viewpoint diversity at certain institutions, providing requirements for the assessment. So this is the thing that you, every single fucking year, you have to submit your viewpoints? Why? Why the fuck do they have to submit their viewpoints every year? What the shit? Why do you need that information? Authorizing the State Board of Education to adopt rules prohibiting the State Board of Education and the Board of Governors, respectively, from shielding certain students. What? You can't even just like abstain? Students, faculty, and staff cannot be shielded?
Never look at truth
what the fuck?
in the eye.
Water Guy, thank you very much for the follow. Let's see here. So against the person who's publishes audio procedures, be it enacted by the legislature of the state of Florida that it's added intellectual freedom, viewpoint, diversity assessment. Intellectual freedom and diversity means the exposure of students, faculty, and staff to and encouragement of their exploration of a variety of ideological and political perspectives. Okay, that's fine. And I know that it's written vaguely on purpose, but I just have to wonder, like, if there's... Oh my god, shut the fuck up, Sonic Unleashed music. Jesus Christ. I have to wonder why. Is there so... Because I know there's, like, a conspiracy theory that's been pushed around that, like, people go to college and they come out leftists all the time or some shit. And, you know, just, like, strangely enough, there's a plethora of facts about how things work that typically skew very left, so it makes sense that that's kind of what you would expect there. This feels like knowing you have a losing battle in the world of education and trying to force diversity of thought through And usually, I could be wrong, but usually when the diversity of thought thing is brought up, or intellectual diversity, it's usually brought up in a way that says that, like, everybody needs equal footing, like, all ideas have equal footing. Like, we bring a creationist in to debate an evolution scientist because all ideas need equal footing. However, if we bring up something that was researched here earlier by Memory Martin, thank you very much for bringing this up. Said fostering intellectual diversity means creating a pluralistic academic environment that encourages curiosity, open minds, and the free exchange of ideas. The Bahama Mama, thank you very much for the follow or for the subscription. And now I know that my volume mixer settings are wrong, and for some reason that made me very angry. I don't know why Lulu's laugh made me angry there. Weird. That's not what I meant to click. Stop! According to Deborah Mashak, Executive Director of Heterodox Academy, intellectual diversity exists when learners ask questions and approach problems from a range of perspectives. So it's important to note that intellectual diversity does not... It is important to note that intellectual diversity does not mean fostering intellectual diversity... Okay, I hate when things are written this way. I fucking can't stand it. Fostering intellectual diversity does not mean rationing out equal time for progressive and conservative talking points, as if equal exposure to the two dominant political parties is the sine qua non of educational quality. I have no idea what that means. Rather, she writes, fostering intellectual diversity means creating a pluralistic academic environment that encourages curiosity, open minds, and free exchange of ideas. Why is it so crucial to education, particularly for liberal arts colleges? So perhaps it's because the best performing liberal arts institutions are delivering on the promise of what a liberal education is supposed to be. An education that frees the mind to think beyond the immediately practical, to embrace abstract, and to challenge accepted wisdom. To pursue a liberal education is to develop intellectual agency, a deep sense of confidence, and it allows us to bear the responsibilities and enjoy the fruits of a free society. So, popping back over to here, this is what intellectual diversity is supposed to be, right? It does not mean, and what I'm thinking that Ron DeSantis is trying to go for, is the equal time for progressive and conservative talking points type of intellectual diversity. That would be my thought. So what happens when the survey is done? In House and Senate committee discussions, one of the main concerns was not so much about the survey, but about what would be done with the survey results. Could this information potentially be used to punish or reward colleges or universities? Might faculty be promoted or fired because of their political beliefs? Rodriguez says the answer is no. But the survey language under the bill lacks details that back that assertion. It offers no assurances that the survey's answers will be anonymous, and there is no clarity on who will use the data and for what purpose. I mean, we did look at the bill earlier and saw that it is incredibly vague. It said SHIELD means to limit students, faculty, or staff members' access to your observation of, or ideas and opinions they may find uncomfortable, unwelcome, disagreeable, or offensive. I really don't think that happens that much on college campuses anyway, not from what I've heard. But anyway, back onto the article. The bill says that the State University System Board of Governors and State Board of Education will be required to select or create an objective, nonpartisan, and statistically valid survey, presumably through the board's public procurement or rulemaking process. So, objective, nonpartisan, and statistically valid survey. I wonder how you're going to manage that. I wonder what the methodology for producing that's going to be. So what about the minority communists? Do they also get equal footing? Okay, let me see what this one is real quick. Apparently there's a related bill that's been filed here. Okay, post-secondary education, general bill by education. Oh, this is the same fucking thing. Prohibits state board education from shielding student, staff, and faculty from certain speech. You know what's weird, though? So, when it says certain speech, that's broad as shit. Could this bill be used to, like, force somebody to stomach anti-Semitism? I don't know if that's a thing that would happen here, but that it feels like that's a thing that could be pulled from this. I don't know, though. Let's see. The Florida Department of Education, for example, offered Rodriguez language to add to the bill to ensure that the State Board of Education has rule-making authority to implement the survey requirements for colleges, according to the emails obtained by the Herald Times through a public records request. Department officials also provided Rodriguez with talking points on how to sell the language in committee. Spokeswoman Taryn Fensky said Tuesday the department only offered clarifying technical edits to the bills and continues to evaluate the proposal as a whole as it moves through the process. Despite being short in details, the bill says the survey should discern the extent to which competing ideas and perspectives are presented in a public universe. Oh my god, fucking goodbye Cosmic Eternity. Freaking video game rap sometimes is cringy as hell. Go away. Go away. We're just going to lower the volume of that just a little bit. That's suddenly distracting for me. Let's see. Talking points. Despite being short in details, the bill says the survey should discern the extent to which competing ideas and perspectives are presented. In public university and college campuses, it also asks to find whether students, faculty, and staff feel free to express their beliefs and viewpoints on campus and in the classroom. So, this one's going to be weird, because, like, should people feel free to express their beliefs and opinions on campus and in the classroom? Yes, but if somebody's sitting there just engaging in, like, blatant hate speech, right? And don't give me in the comment section, who gets to define hate speech? Other countries have functional hate speech laws. Shut the fuck up. There are examples of this. You can literally Google it your fucking self. Anyways, if somebody's engaging in deliberate hate speech, we're talking about something like anti-Semitism, we're talking something like transphobia, are they going to push for this stuff to be allowed constantly? Are you basically going to be allowed to just hurt people around you with your words solely because you're not allowed to shield people from certain kinds of speech while you're on campus? I'm curious to see how that's going to pan out. Rodriguez says the governing boards that oversee the university and colleges would determine whether something needs to be done in response. Wait. But hold on. Could this information be used to punish or reward colleges or universities? Might faculty be promoted or fired based on their political beliefs? Rodriguez says the answer is no. But then here, Rodriguez says that the governing boards that oversee university and colleges would determine whether something needs to be done in response. Okay, but what would they do? If the results came back and showed that there was a lack of intellectual freedom or a lack of viewpoint diversity, my hope would be that the governing body institution would recognize and find that acceptable and would find that unacceptable and announce what the plan is to address that. Okay, so this is just being vague. You're saying, no, this wouldn't be used to do any of these things, these controlling things. But then you're like, yeah, no, they'll just put in a plan of action to fix the problem. If you got too many Democrats at your school, then we gotta fucking Republicanize them. But Democrats worry that the politics could come into play because members of those boards are packed with political appointees. Rodriguez tried to disabuse them of that notion, arguing that he does not share the sentiment that political appointees would abuse their positions for their own political purpose. Rodriguez, are you a fucking idiot? Are you an actual fucking idiot? So wait, hold on. Let me get this straight. You believe in your heart of hearts that someone who was politically appointed to a position would never use that position for their own political purpose. Never. Rodriguez, do you have dicks for brains? Dismayed leftist Akasid, thank you very much for subscribing. Also, what in the fuck? In the Florida House bill, sponsor Rep. Spencer argued further legislatures could use the data as the basis to make policy decisions. Well, yes. that literally is what Rodriguez is saying up here. So I think that if those survey points, if the surveys points to consistent problems over a period of years, I think policy should evolve from that. Lobbyist Barney Bishop, a proponent of the measure, said in Interview Tuesday. So I'm curious, would this act... So, let's say, for instance, that most of your colleges are progressive, which is usually what I understand to be the case, right? Let's say most of these colleges are progressive. Now let's say that somebody says, well, if we found out that there was a conservative bias in these colleges, then we would work to fix that too. But if there's like 5% of colleges, just a small handful of colleges that have overrepresentation of Republicans, of conservatives, etc., and most of them end up churning out, you know, even-minded progressive people, then that creates kind of a false equivalence. It's the whole, like, it's equally illegal to sleep under a bridge for a rich man and a homeless man, despite the fact that the likelihood that the rich man will have to deal with this problem is increasingly low. The bishop won't name his clients other than to say that he is lobbying the bill on behalf of Citizens for Responsible Spending, a grassroots organization committed to ethics, the budget, and good jobs. Okay, let's go ahead and see what that is. Citizens for Responsible Spending. Follow the money. Let's take a look here. They raised a total of $727,000, spanning 2 years, opposing or supporting ballot measures. Let's see here. General business. Measures. Concerns tax and fees increase imposed by state government. Okay. Let's take a look at this one here. $0 spent supporting 0 candidates who won. $2,500 spent in general elections on 1 candidate. Okay. That's more open secret stuff. 5-point ethics plan. Let's see what this ethics plan is. See, the group's 5 points: strengthening the ethics board, suspending the ethics officer, appointing a new general counsel, creating an inspector general position, conducting an audit on the independent ethics board. Okay, so the ethics officer in Florida, I guess that's what they're going for? Hold on. 1 sec. Okay. Let's see. So he won't name his clients other than to say he's lobbying on behalf of Citizens Responsible. He's the only lobbyist representing non-education groups that is pushing for the bill. Yeah, we did see in the fucking... it wasn't here. It was in the Follow the Money one. All of their money is in agriculture, general business, finance and insurance, energy and natural resources, construction, transportation, communication and electronics. A grand total of $500 have gone to education or government agencies. So when asked why he painted a dark, repressive picture, I think that those of us who have diverse thinking and look at both sides of the issues see that the way the cards are stacked in the education system is towards the left and towards the liberal ideology and also secularism. And those were not the values our country was founded on. Those are the values that we need to get our country back. So wait, hold on. Liberal ideology and secularism are not the ideas that our country was founded on. I don't give a shit what ideas our country was founded on, and neither should you. The idea that our country was founded on particular positions doesn't mean jack. What means jack is whether the positions it currently holds are good. Nobody should give a flying fuck what positions a country was founded on. They should give a flying fuck what positions the country holds, what actions they engage in now, not the actions they engaged in 300 years ago, unless we're talking about things that affect people right now. The country having an idea of something years ago is not an action. It's just a belief that people have. Whereas things like, I don't know, giving smallpox blankets to natives, that's an action. That's something that, yeah, maybe a country should be held accountable for, even though it happened 300 years ago. If you're upset that America's ideals have evolved, that fucking blows. But I think we uncovered here one of the reasons why people support this. The hypothetical that I threw about, like, most of the colleges being left-leaning and then conservative colleges not producing the same amount of people out. Again, if the data leads that way, if the data is in that direction, then fuck it. Follow that data. Don't try to artificially, like, scramble everything just because, oh no, there's more people left. Go where things are correct. Bishop said he certainly hopes the efforts will go further into the K through 12 system. I think the problem isn't just in higher education. The truth of the matter is that kids are being indoctrinated from an early age. So wait. You think kids are being indoctrinated into secularism and liberalism at an early age? So because of this conspiratorial thinking, you're going to support Ron DeSantis's shit in surveying people and getting all their information. Okay, sure. Unsunful, thank you very much for the follow. So wait, let's see. Emboldened by the gains in the state and South End, former President Donald Trump's statewide victory in Florida. Intellectual survey bill gained traction this year compared to last year's when it had stalled in the Senate. Yep, makes sense that it stalled in the Senate in previous years because we actually saw the previous versions of the bill had been pushed before. At least this one was earlier, but there are previous versions of it here. Let's see here. Anything else in here that I need to figure out? What else is tucked in the bill? Other than the provision that would create the so-called intellectual survey, the bill would also prevent colleges and universities from shielding students, faculty, and staff from any kind of speech that is uncomfortable or offensive. Democrats worry the bill would make it easier for groups like the Ku Klux Klan and the Proud Boys to hold events at the campus. Yeah, that's a very valid fucking point. That's a very valid point. If a group of teachers said, no, we don't agree to a Ku Klux Klan member presenting at our campus, somebody could use the bill to argue, well, no, you cannot shield students from uncomfortable or offensive language. The only thing that changes as a result of this is that no one would be able to say to an organization, you're not welcome here because we don't agree with your views, Rodriguez argued. I mean, but isn't that a perfectly fair thing to say? We do not want you to speak on our campus because we do not agree with your views. Usually there's a because there. Because your views are heinous, because your views would lead to mass suicides, because your views would lead to people dying. Those are usually, additives there. Click the tab next to bill history. Related bills. Okay, so the earlier one was tried to file 3 months ago as a related bill, another higher education bill. Okay. Said students would also be able to record classroom lectures without a professor's consent for educational purposes or to use in preparations of a civil or criminal case against the higher education institution. Rodriguez said in committee that students should be able to shed a light on wrongdoing in a classroom. Okay, but wait, how would the students be determining wrongdoing in the classroom? If my teacher is an atheist and they're talking about secularism, and your student is a die-hard conservative Christian, and they record that secular speech, and then just, try to create a civil case there, wouldn't teachers being afraid of fucking criminal shit being levied against them, wouldn't that literally make them not want to showcase their thought? Wouldn't that make them less, wouldn't that make them not talk about those issues as much? Isn't that a bad thing? Professors, however, would have a civil cause of action against any student, whether they're an adult or a minor, if they publish a recording for any other purpose. Well, gee, I certainly hope that that works well in other places. Anything else in here that matters? Let's see here. There's some comments here. What happens to the student who says no opinion? Let's see. The Republican Party gets more like the Nazi Party every day. Not untrue here. Add to the law that lying will get you jail time. That will shut every Republican mouth. The problem is that you have to determine that something was intentionally a lie. I agree with the spirit, but George Orwell is spinning in his grave. This is 1984, but in the 21st century America. Is there no depth to which the GOP will not stoop? So, like, I get the sentiment, but I also think that this is literally 1984 takes are a little much. Even if it's accurate here. Said Orwell, have you not read Animal Farm, Ding Dong? Orwell would be spinning in his grave because his warnings went unheeded and the Marxist elitist pigs took over our college campuses. The effort to bring about intellectual diversity and restore sanity... Wait! Candy! Do you have dicks for brains? At least Tom here is like, you do know that Orwell was a socialist, right? Like... He's not gonna roll in his grave because people are using Marxist, like, literature and shit. Jesus Christ. Okay, that's enough of that. There's some citations regarding the powers and such. Last tab of the Senate site. Okay, let's take a look here. Citation statutes, so... Specific powers of state board, free expression on campus. Okay, I'm curious about free expression on campus. Let's see this one. Let's see. Shield means to limit students, faculty, members of staff access to or observation of ideas and opinions that they may find uncomfortable. Expression activities protected under the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. Okay, so this is just, like, showing where this shit is in here. Disciplinary measures. Let's take a look at those. They said those were vague. Let's take a look here real quick. Notwithstanding any provision of law, each student government shall adopt internal procedures providing an elected or appointed officer of the student government who has been disciplined, suspended, or removed from office the right to directly appeal such decision to the vice president of student affairs or other senior university administrator designed to hear such appeals. The internal procedures shall not condition the exercise of the right or the consideration of decisions of any student panel, including but not limited to any student judiciary, or place any condition precedent on the exercise of such right granted by this paragraph. The State Board of Education, respectively, shall require each Florida college system institution to adopt by rule and each state university to adopt by regulation codes of conduct and appropriate penalties for violation of rules and regulations. Isn't that funny? Like, if you look here and see, you can see where, like, they had it set up where each institution may adopt these things, and then they've changed it to, no, they have to. This is not a fucking choice. The colleges have to adopt these things. Everyone says there are also two analyses if you want to really quickly check those. So I don't, because this is currently at 39 minutes and 18 seconds. And I think we've spent a lot of time on this particular topic. We've looked at portions of the bill. We've looked at the history of one of the people backing the bill. We've looked at the article on the bill. And I think the bill is fucking garbage. But I think that's as far as I can go with this one. I can't spend an hour on this topic as much as I would like to. So pretty sure Orwell was a Marxist and a socialist. Animal Farm is how communism died in the USSR, not how bad it is. Yep. Yep. It's amazing how many people like didn't actually read Orwell who freak out about Orwell. Anywho, with that said, this has been a very scatterbrained episode, but let me know what you think in the comments section below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you did, let me know in the comment section. Hit the like button if you haven't already, and follow over on Twitch if you haven't already. Subscribe, and all that other fun stuff. As always, everyone, insert into video tagline here.